Hey, Steve.
Hey, Alan.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm getting kind of excited to share some of our upcoming episodes with our listeners.
It's a new year, new guests, new features, a new program, a new evolution of Music Ed Insights. I'm excited. What should we talk about first?
I'd like to give a little preview of some of the guests. Our first one that we're going to release next week, Alyssa Otmar, that's a must listen for any music teacher because it applies to hearing health. She's an audiologist and also a musician. And I loved that episode. That was a fun one to edit.
And we have listeners who aren't music educators, we have learned. And some of those folks might work in a loud environment as well. So I think this is going to have some far-reaching implications and maybe even one for people to share with people who've never even heard a single episode.
Agreed. Probably a little bit more specific to our band and especially marching band teachers. Jeremy Spicer from Texas is joining us to talk about the direction that marching bands have headed the last couple of decades, and in particular, those really top level Bands of America level bands, or we think about drum corps, and what aspects of that we should maybe be trying to emulate with our normal high school marching band that we might run, and aspects of those drum corps shows or BOA shows that maybe we just need to leave up to the pros.
Yeah, I appreciated his insights on student leadership and about doing the best you can with what you've got instead of that, that unattainable stuff that can sometimes be discouraging. It was a great episode. Then, how shall we tell the story of our February 12th guest, Jenny Peters? Steve, how should we tee this one up?
Well, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've been listening for a while. I'm an expert on the ukulele. Would you maybe consider a guest about the ukulele?" And I forwarded it to you. I was like, "Do we want to do this?" And you said, "Well, yeah, you kind of bring up ukulele ensemble a lot as sort of a
That's right.
almost like fictional alternative to band, and it actually does happen. I think we should have a guest talk about this, and that's one of those. I don't know if we've had a guest ever more quickly or drastically change my mind on a topic than Jenny Peters and the beauty of the ukulele and what it can do for us.
Yeah, I loved the way that one instantly took us from sort of this theoretical, abstract, what else is out there besides band, choir, and orchestra? Well, ukulele ensembles. And it just sort of became this placeholder for alternative approaches to music classes. And it became a reality. And watching you shift a bit and get kind of excited about the concept, that was fun. Another upcoming guest, Annie Booth.
Well, we reached out to her because she started Brava Music Publishing, which is jazz literature written for all levels of jazz ensembles, instrumental ensembles, and music written or arranged by women. And it was great to hear about how that came to be and some of the resources they provide, and then just also her insights as a performer and an educator. Another new thing coming up this spring, on our off weeks, we are going to introduce quick pro tips. Very short, very quick pro tips with either me, one of my pro tips, Alan, perhaps one of your pro tips, or we might call back to a favorite guest and share a nugget of wisdom that they had for our listeners.
And I'm looking forward to that. It's a real response to people who are busy, but really appreciate some of the insights that we have in some of our Alan and Steve episodes, or some of those takeaways that we have from our guests. That's going to be fun. And we're going to have even more. We're going to introduce an insider program, a way to be a patron of this podcast. Some people, not a lot, but enough, have said, are there ways that we can support you? Because some people are used to that, the subscription model, or people pay a little extra and then they get a little extra, some perks in return. So we're going to introduce that for just $5 a month. Details will be on our website, but for just $5 a month, you'll have access to ad-free episodes, some unedited episodes. We won't release every episode in its unedited state, but we're going to do that with a few.
Yeah, trust me, some of the unedited episodes you don't want to listen to.
Right. And that might make somebody say, ooh, why not? And the answer is, I don't know, a lot of pausing.
A lot of pauses.
Yeah, a lot of redirections.
But there are some that are great. In particular, this very first one we're going to release, the Alyssa Otmar, the audiologist episode, that ended up, we had about an hour conversation with her, and it was a ton of fun. And I felt bad we had to cut about a half hour of it out, including a lot of Alan's most charming banter with Alyssa, unfortunately. But I think you'll enjoy it.
I think people really want to know about the headphones that I like to wear. I think people are going to love that.
Wait, you already know? I cut that part out. You had a feeling.
I knew it within moments after it came out of my mouth that was not going to make the final cut. So
let me just clarify, Alan. So what if I don't pay? Am I no longer able to get access? Will I not get those quick pro tips or the interviews?
Your experience will remain unchanged, mostly unchanged for what it is now. And in fact, our regular listeners who are not patrons, they will still get the episodes we do, plus these new things that we're adding, some of the new things that we're adding. But there will also be some ads. We've been at this for 2.5 years. We've learned an awful lot, including how expensive it is to run a podcast. There's some hidden costs involved. And so we've gotten big enough now that we're going to be able to have some advertising in our episodes. So the regular listeners will get those. The patrons will get ad-free episodes if they'd like.
Yeah, I was delighted when you told me that the podcast platform that we use determined that we evidently have enough listeners that other people want to spend money advertising on our program. So that was a nice little ego boost there.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about what we're doing here and the response that we get. We have listeners in all 50 states now. That was some of the stats that I enjoyed taking a look at recently. So anyway, we hope to offer you even more. And that patronage program, our insider community, will make that even more possible. Did I answer your question, Steve?
You did. I think everything makes sense. Well, wait, how do I become an insider? Is that on the webpage or?
It's on the webpage. Just go to musicedinsights.com. We have featured that option very prominently on the page. We will make it extremely easy for you to click through and give us your $5 a month.
And if I don't want to take advantage of the unedited episodes and I don't mind just fast forwarding through commercials like I do on other podcasts, will you still take my money just as a sign of goodwill that I want to help you out?
That was actually the short answer is yes. And that was actually the origin story of this, is that we do have people who have said, I'd happily make a donation. And we didn't really have an avenue for that was like neat and tidy. And so that was the inception. And then we realized, you know what, this could really help us develop this thing. So it kind of grew from there. We've been talking about it for a few months and we're ready to launch in the new year.
Happy New Year, listeners.
Happy New Year to you too, Steve. Thanks for listening to Music Ed Insights.
We're supported by Group Dynamic, a leading provider of youth leadership workshops. Alan works with dozens of schools each year to help develop their leaders. Learn more at groupdynamic.net/youth-leadership.
Or you could email me at alan@groupdynamic.net. Also sponsored by the Co-College Music Education Program. They've got a website too.
Just click their link at our website or email me at shanley@coe.edu.
Also, The Normal Design, helping normal companies and people create memorable, meaningful, and professional designs and branding. More at thenormaldesign.com.
And Winterset Websites, website design and maintenance. wintersetwebsites.com.
Our Facebook page is Music Ed Insights.
Our website has program notes, links, and a one-page download of this episode's key takeaways. That's musicedinsights.com.
New episodes generally drop every couple weeks on Monday.
Get current.
Stay relevant.
Music Ed Insights.